Guys and dolls, so got another wee video for you. Haven't stopped. Just had a shower there. I went and met. Not going to go on about it too much, but one of our community, like I say, was having a bit of trouble. So went and met her, got a wee coffee, had a wee chat, and yeah, she's in a good place now. And so all good, guys. Back, grabbed a shower, getting ready for the demo at 7, and just checked out on YouTube, checked messages, and come across this video. So this has happened today in Hamilton in Scotland, and it's Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister for Labour, and it's very important. These kind of things are very, very important, and I'm going to go into it, maybe spend about 5 minutes going into it, maybe a bit more after the video of what I think, my opinions. So yeah, I want you to have a good look at this.
The two-child benefit cap, the list is endless, and the voters are listening to that, aren't they?
Well, this isn't a government that introduced a two-child benefit cap. What we've said is we've got a child poverty task force that wants to deliver for working people and to end the poverty, which the Tories inflicted across the whole of the UK for the last 14 years.
Will you end the two-child benefit cap?
And Scotland has had a record amount of funding from this UK Labour government, £50 billion, which the Scottish government, the SNP government, could have chosen to put that money into things like the winter fuel allowance.
This is about you, Deputy Prime Minister. Are you going to end the two... Well, that's because you're talking about the SNP. I'm talking about Labour. Are you going to end the two-child benefit cap? Are you going to do that?
I talked about Labour. I've just told you the Labour government brought in £50 billion record.
That's not my question. Are you going to end the two-child benefit cap?
You're not letting me finish my response. So we've said we've got, which I've said to you earlier, we've got a child poverty task force which is looking at all the different elements to what impacts on child poverty, which includes housing, and we know we've got a housing crisis here in Scotland as well as we have in England, which we've got a plan to build the houses we need in England.
I'm not talking about housing, I'm talking about child poverty. Are you going to end the two-child benefit cap?
And housing is a substantial amount of costs on families, as is work and making sure that works pay, and that's why 220,000 Scottish people who are on the lowest income have had a pay rise because of our Employment Rights Bill and the changes.
You're dodging the question. Are you going to end the two-child benefit cap?
I've just answered your question.
You're talking about housing, you're talking about anything.
I said we've got a child poverty task force which is looking at all the different issues that we face. When economic circumstances change, we will be able to look at what elements impact on child poverty and alleviate that. And I know one of the things that will help with child poverty is for people to have better secure work, which is why we've got the Employment Rights Bill. It's why that we've given 220,000 lowest paid Scots a pay rise through the increase in the minimum wage, and it's also why we're tackling housing in England and why we're pushing the SNP to tackle the housing crisis here in Scotland, because that and rents is a significant amount of money that people have to pay out.
Just before you go, yes or no, do you want to end the two-child benefit cap? I know you've talked about the task force. What's your view?
We want to end child poverty. Now, as someone who grew up in poverty, my mum and dad, we had 3 kids, we had child benefit and we were on benefits. It didn't help us in terms of poverty. What we want to do is help people alleviate poverty, to have good jobs, to have a good secure home, and to be able to get on in life. That's what this Labour government is wanting to deliver.
Deputy Prime Minister, thanks very much.
So guys, why I'm bringing this to you is most of my followers will get this. It's like the two cap. It's one of the things I keep banging on about, and this is a big deal. Not just about the topic of two cap, which I'll bring on to in a minute. It's the way she can't answer it. We're in our society. When did this happen? When we had people who represent us, people in power, who cannot answer a question, yes or no. You got to ask yourself why. Why can't you just say, no, we have no plans to end the two cap right now, but we're looking into it? Why can't you say that? Or yes, we are looking into it and there's a very good chance we will. We haven't finalised all the details. We haven't looked into the figures, but we are heading towards that direction. We are maybe thinking about it, there's so many things like just human nature that we don't pay attention to. We just let it roll right by us. And this is one of the moments when this is one of our problems. These are the type of people that we've got in power. And I go on about the private school boys and the millionaires, and yes, Angela Rayner is from a working class area, but she seems to have forgot about that. You know, it's okay coming from a working class area, but she doesn't represent the working class people. She's forgot about where she's came from. She's forgot about her roots. She's sold her soul. So she has, like many people from the working class area who find themselves going into that road into politics. You know, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? You're not going to get into Westminster without selling your soul these days, because you've got to whistle to their tune. And if you're from the working class area, you're not going to be happy with that tune. There's no two ways about it. So, you know, the 2-cap, my problem with the 2-cap is that they say, oh, we need to bring these people into the country because you aren't having enough children. There's more people dying than there is having children. And I keep on saying that's because you won't let us have children. You know, you've capped how many children we can have. People can't afford to have any more children, let alone one child. And you've got both parents out working and doing overtime. And we don't even have a mother and father sitting in the house looking after the child like we used to back in the day. And, you know, like you say, that's the kind of things I want changed. I want our mothers or fathers, whoever's staying at home to look after the house and the children, be paid handsomely for it, no matter how many children they have. But this is the problem that they've got. And this is not Northern Ireland, please believe me. We do not have this problem just yet. But they do, you know. You've got to understand that certain demographics have lots of children to lots of women. And the British government, the English government, and the Scottish government, and it does affect us this way, don't have the money to end the 2-cap because of what they've done to their country. Do you understand what they've done? This isn't about us. You know, we want to end the 2-cap because we want more Christian children. We want more kids like us, Protestants and Catholics, you know. We want our families to be like it was back in the day, with big families. You had loads of families with loads of brothers and sisters, and, you know, we want that back, you know, because all them brothers and sisters are going to have loads of have loads of children, and, you know, and this goes on, and that's how things work. Because if it doesn't work like that, what happens is the demographic changes. You know, and it's okay if the demographic changes, if the other people that come in are happy to work together. But we see time and time again, they don't want to work together. They want to change things to their way. They want us to change and accept everything that they bring with them culturally. And we've got to respect that in our own country. And by respecting that, that can be not walking our dogs, slaughtering our animals in a horrific way, and excluding Easter's and Christmas out of our schools. So, you know, this is a problem that the British government have got themselves in, and this is another reason why we need something to change, not just because of the borders and everything else and the risk that our wee country's under right now from both sides, but there's a lot more to it, you know, a lot more to it. And I know it's a lot harder than me just sitting here. I'm not stupid. I know how difficult this is. You know. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a reason why we've got more people dying than we have having births, okay, for the first time ever. There's a really good reason for it. And it's simply because the government have stopped us. I'll never forget that. That is the reason we're in the situation we're in. And I do believe that they're creating a situation where they are able to do this to us, what we're doing with the boats and the irregular immigration, and just the overwhelming of people that follow Islam, you know, predominantly Islam coming into our countries. And, you know, the thing as well, she's banging on about the housing. There's no housing. Of course there's no housing. We all know why there's no housing. You know, these guys are going into hotels and they're getting housing. They're getting housing before our guys, because they're refugees, you know, and families are being split up again. You know, we've got vulnerable children not being close to their families, and then we've got dangerous men in the same communities as these vulnerable children. So all in all, it's a recipe for disaster. There's no happy ending here, guys, unless we change things. And as you can see, this is your British government. You know, this will always be your British government. You know what I mean? This is the people who represent us, who are controlling us. And that's how they behave. when they're just asked a simple question, do you plan to end the 2 cap on children? For children, for families, and she just couldn't answer. She just couldn't answer, and it's really bad. That to me is the worst we'll ever see. That is the worst we'll ever see. When they stand there over and over again and refuse to ask the question that everybody's wanting answered, you've got to ask yourself why. And I'm telling you why. Because they've got themselves in a hole that they're not going to get out of. And it's not, and as a whole, reform isn't going to get anybody out of there. So yeah, huge problems, which are going to affect us long term unless something's done about it. So again, guys, just a wee video and food for thought. And Freedom Dad. God bless.